everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for this episode of Making the Cut. And this episode is titled Don't Be a Bitch. Oftentimes I get asked, what do you wish someone had told you when you first started out in your career? And um, I remember the exact same thing. I go back to the exact same memory, which when I lived in New York, I started a tech company for sourcing called Afingo. Anyways, we started doing these panels and I had amazing guests and moderators at these panels. And one of the moderators who always moderated, her name was Fern Malice. Her name is Fern Malice. She is legendary in the fashion industry. She started New York Fashion Week. She's a force in fashion. And I'll never forget somebody asked her in the audience, what is the best advice you have to give somebody? And she quickly looked up and said, be nice. So I'm going to take that and also say, don't be a bitch, whether you're a guy or a girl or whatever. And it also takes me back to what a woman who used to do my PR had said was you people don't realize the assistant you're speaking to in 5 or 7 years could be the editor, could be the media head, could be the XYZ that you need to get a meeting with. You don't know where somebody is going. So a lot of times what I see at my school and just with people starting out in any career is you want it. Like at the end of the day, you want it. You want to get there. You want to get there. You want to get to Z. You're starting at A and you want to get, how fast can I get to Z? And sometimes we forget our manners. It's really important to check yourself. Be nice. Don't be rude. Don't be an asshole. And don't be a bitch. And it's really easy to be because, you're getting frustrated. If you're starting your own business, you're spending your own money. Things are expensive. Life's gotten expensive. There's a lot of stresses. I fully understand. However, you will meet whomever you are being not nice to down the road, and you will wish you were kinder. And I will tell you a story of when I was a bitch. And I think about it, and I went back and apologized. But I'll tell you, when I had a Fingo, I was very stressed. A Fingo was a sourcing company. This was back in 2009, 2010. So it was a platform for designers in apparel and lifestyle and furniture, whatever, to source manufacturers globally. And it distilled your supplier by country and then by city and then by expertise. So Alibaba had just hit North America as well. Alibaba had a far greater vision than I did with the Fingo. But basically, we were bleeding money and we were having a hard time like figuring out where our foothold was. I was really stressed. And we had hired a very kind gentleman to do our content. And back then, what was content? It was blogs. He was a writer. And their souls are very gentle. Anyway, when I look back, I was a bitch. I was a bitch to work for at the time. I was a bitch to him. And long and short of it, the Fingo never worked out. Uh, we let him go because we really didn't need in a nice way, not in a bad way, but I never felt good about how I behaved with him. Fast forward, I don't need anything from him, meaning it's not like this situation came up where I met with him and I had to be embarrassed about my conduct. I was just embarrassed of my conduct, and his name came up in my LinkedIn as somebody you might want to connect with. Instead of clicking connect, I sent him a note saying, I really wanted to take the time and apologize to you for how I was when you worked with us at Afingo. You're a really kind gentleman, etc. And I apologize for the way I was. It really sat with me. Anyway, he sent a very kind note back. But in that note, it was also very obvious, thank you so much for the apology. He really didn't want to have anything to do with me. And it went back to what Fern Malice said, be nice. And we all know it when we're not, when we're losing our cool, when we are not being the person we want to be. Take a minute, Go for a walk around the block, do whatever you need to do. But believe me, you will come across that person you're being a bitch to down the road. And even if you don't, you'll come across yourself who has matured and not be too impressed with how you conducted yourself in the past. You don't want to be that. Always be nice. Who's remembered? The nice people. Who do people go out of their way for to help? The people that are nice. And it doesn't take anything, doesn't cost any money. And believe me, the people that get ahead in their careers, they're often the nice ones. All right. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Making the Cut Quick and Dirty.